There's no denying it. Countries are starting to fall apart at the seams, and there's some serious warning signs that more are on the verge of collapse. But the world isn't paying attention. It's me. This is my channel, and we're going to look at some countries that might disappear in the next 50 years. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe. As we grow, we would love it if you could support us. Now, let's get into it. So many people believe that countries will last forever. It's easy to assume this because we rarely see them disappear. But before we made modern maps, there were plenty of countries which no longer exist today. In the past 100 years, we have seen Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, the Soviet Union, East and West Germany, Benin, Sudan, and many others either disappear or undergo significant change. When we look at our modern maps, most of the borders have been drawn up by colonial powers who split up regions based on ethnicity, religion, natural borders, or just to keep everyone happy. But this has left us with a world map full of countries that do always fit together like Lego pieces. In recent years, things have calmed down, but there's still plenty of hotspots around the world where unrest and tensions are high, and countries could go back to being redrawn again. So what countries could disappear in the next 50 years? Let's take a look. Fiji. This small Pacific island nation is made up of hundreds of islands and home to over 320,000 people. Most of its population live along the coastline, and in recent years, the country has faced extreme weather events, including cyclones, floods, and droughts. These events have caused widespread damage to infrastructure and livelihoods, particularly those who depend on fishing and agriculture. Rising sea levels have also eroded beaches and inundated coastal areas, forcing some communities to relocate inland. While Fiji is taking steps to address these issues, such as investing in renewable energy and promoting sustainable land use practices, it faces significant challenges. Its geographic location makes it highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, and the small size of its economy limits its ability to invest in mitigation and adaptation measures. Furthermore, Fiji is highly dependent on tourism, which has been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. This has resulted in job losses and decreased government revenue, making it even more difficult to allocate resources towards mitigating the effects of climate change. If sea levels continue to rise and the international community fails to take action on climate change, it's possible that Fiji could become uninhabitable. The entire country could be forced to relocate, which would be a major humanitarian crisis and an unprecedented challenge for any country to face. Some estimates suggest that by 2050, sea levels could rise by up to 1.1 meters, which would submerge much of Fiji's low-lying land. If this occurs, the country may be forced to abandon its current territory and find new land for its people. The United Kingdom. Now this one is more political than anything else. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. For centuries, the British Empire ruled over vast territories across the globe, but since then, the nation has mostly kept itself to itself. It is currently made up of 4 separate countries, each with its own distinct culture and history. However, in recent times, there have been growing calls for Scottish independence and reunification of Ireland, which could potentially lead to the dissolution of the United Kingdom as we know it today. There are several reasons why Scotland might want to leave the UK. Firstly, there's the issue of sovereignty. Scottish people might feel that their interests are not being properly represented in the UK Parliament, and that they would be better off being an independent country, able to make their own laws and set their own policies. Secondly, there's the financial argument. Scotland has a strong economy, and some argue that it contributes more to the UK's GDP than it gets back in return. Being an independent country could allow Scotland to keep more of its own money and invest it in public services and infrastructure. Finally, there's the emotional attachment to Scottish culture and identity. Many Scottish people feel a strong sense of national pride and want to preserve their unique culture and heritage. However, it's important to note that while support for Scottish independence has been growing in recent years, it hasn't yet reached a point where it would be likely to result in a successful referendum. While a second independence referendum was promised, it's unlikely to happen anytime soon. Ireland is another country whose borders were redrawn in recent years, when Northern Ireland voted to remain part of the United Kingdom in a referendum. However, recent polls have shown that a majority of people in Northern Ireland would now vote to leave the UK and reunite with the Republic of Ireland. If this were to happen, it would be a major shift in the political landscape of the UK and Ireland, and could potentially lead to the dissolution of the United Kingdom as we know it. While the future of the UK remains uncertain, it's clear that the country is at a crossroads. Whether it stays together or breaks apart, the UK will never be the same again. Tuvalu. This tiny island nation in the Indian Ocean is home to 9 islands and a population of around 12,000 people. Tuvalu is one of the lowest-lying countries in the world, with an average elevation of just 2 meters above sea level. This makes it extremely vulnerable to the impacts of rising sea levels. In recent years, Tuvalu has experienced more frequent and severe weather events, including cyclones and floods, which have damaged homes, infrastructure and crops. As sea levels continue to rise, it's likely that these weather events will become even more extreme, posing a greater risk to the people of Tuvalu. One study predicts that by 2100, sea levels could rise by up to 4 meters in the Indian Ocean, which would completely submerge Tuvalu. This means that the country could become uninhabitable, and its citizens would have to migrate to other countries. Tuvalu is already taking steps to address the issue of rising sea levels, such as investing in seawalls and other coastal defenses. However, these measures are unlikely to be enough to protect the country from the impacts of climate change in the long term. Tuvalu is a small and remote country, making it difficult and expensive to implement large-scale mitigation and adaptation projects. If the international community fails to take action on climate change, it's possible that Tuvalu could be the first country to become uninhabitable and disappear beneath the waves. Vanuatu, another small island nation located in the South Pacific Ocean, is Vanuatu, formerly known as the New Hebrides. This beautiful country is made up of 80 islands and is home to around 300,000 people. Like Tuvalu, Vanuatu is extremely vulnerable to the impacts of rising sea levels and extreme weather events. In recent years, Vanuatu has experienced more frequent and severe cyclones, which have caused widespread damage to infrastructure and livelihoods. The country is also facing soil erosion and saltwater intrusion, which is contaminating freshwater sources and reducing agricultural productivity. One study predicts that by 2100, sea levels could rise by up to 1.8 meters in the Pacific Ocean, which would inundate much of Vanuatu's low-lying land. This could force the country's citizens to migrate to higher ground or to other countries altogether. Like Tuvalu, Vanuatu is taking steps to address the issue of rising sea levels, such as investing in early warning systems for extreme weather events and promoting sustainable land use practices. However, these measures are unlikely to be enough to protect the country from the impacts of climate change in the long term. Vanuatu is a poor country and faces significant challenges in terms of its infrastructure, economy, and access to resources. If the international community fails to take action on climate change, it's possible that Vanuatu could be one of the first countries to disappear beneath the waves. The Netherlands. Okay, this one probably doesn't deserve to be on the list, but it's worth talking about nonetheless. The Netherlands is a small European country, made up of 12 provinces, and a population of around 18 million people. Despite its small size, the Netherlands is a major player on the world stage, known for its innovative and progressive policies, as well as its iconic windmills and tulips. However, the Netherlands is facing a number of challenges that could threaten its existence in the next 50 years. One of the biggest threats facing the Netherlands is water. The country is located in a region that is prone to flooding and rising sea levels. Climate change is also causing sea levels to rise more rapidly, putting even more pressure on the Netherlands' flood defenses. Another challenge facing the Netherlands is its geographical location. The country is located at the heart of Europe, making it an ideal location for trade and transportation. However, this also makes it vulnerable to conflict in the surrounding areas. The Netherlands has a long history of involvement in European conflicts, and it is possible that it could be drawn into future conflicts in the region. Despite these challenges, the Netherlands is a resilient country, with a strong economy and a history of innovation. The Dutch have a long tradition of working together to overcome adversity, and they have the resources and determination to continue to thrive in the future. However, it's important to be aware of the challenges facing the Netherlands, and to work to mitigate the risks of flooding and conflict. Only by being proactive can the Netherlands ensure its continued survival. So while it's unlikely that any of these countries will actually disappear in the next 50 years, it's important to be aware of the challenges they face and to work towards creating a more sustainable and peaceful world. Who knows what the world will look like in half a century? What we do know is that we should be prepared for anything. Now, it's time to hear from you. Do you think any of these countries will disappear in the next 50 years? Comment below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out this playlist for more videos like this.